My name's Nico. I'm 16 and I'm homeschooled. My main language is English. I love animals, playing video games, and coding.
My name is Marco. I am 13 years old, and my occupation currently is being a student. I love video games, reading, animals, technology.
A unit that I want to develop with you, starting by the creation of the unit. I also want to show you like the process on my side because I believe that the students should also be part of this process. Get a template for teachers to put together a learning experience in detail. What is the final goal that you will be able to write a script? What are questions that you ask in an interview? Audio editing.
I feel like the setup is quite important.
What is a podcast? Because the best practices of how to record a podcast and choosing a topic.
I listen to some podcasts.
Also to create new information on it. Because the final product should be something that is new, that is relevant, that is engaging, but that you love also, that you're passionate about. I want it to be meaningful for you. I have never recorded a podcast, so I'm also going to learn with you. Did you know that this is what goes behind the scenes for teachers when they are putting together an unit? Do you think that it's important for you to be part of it? Would you like to see the final result?
I would love to see the final result.
I will probably have another teaching planning with me so that I have another perspective because maybe I forget something or maybe another person have a better idea. I think that having students is like the best because then you can have even a better idea and you're the one that is going to be learning.
We'll need like resources that we don't get copyrighted.
I love that you mentioned that, but obviously we're going to take care of all of the intellectual property and copyrights. Maybe I can add the educators' goals in here.
I think that adding your goals sort of keeps you also accountable for what you wanted to get out of this. A great way for them to hone those interviewing skills is by interviewing a podcaster. It's not just we're gonna invite this person to come talk to us about what podcasting is.
Yeah, it's like two things at the same time. Not only learning from a podcaster, but you have to interview them. Digital portfolio. It has some templates to fill in the information, have some questions that we're going to be wondering about, more listening of the podcast and taking notes, topics. This one have like 1,000 plus writing topics. Here also the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, actual problems that are happening in the world. So no poverty, zero hunger. Two podcasters that we're going to be interviewing for the celebration. We can reach out to some homeschooling community here in Panama to see if some students want to be part of the project.
I think you chose all the right details and information. I'm wondering if we can like create a podcast where all three of us appear.
The website for the standards. It's really cool. And I don't think that it's hard to implement. I think that it just needs to become a part of the way that you plan.
You usually have like a guiding question and like materials that you put up in the walls, and now that you're doing things online, like the kids do not have that. So using some of those questions in that digital journal would be really nice. These situations, I understand that they can be helpful to put the students in the right mindset of thinking as if you're a mathematician, if you're this, if you're an athlete.
You're aiming to become that, not to practice to do a podcast, but the aiming is I am an influencer, I am a podcaster. I guess that that's the intention of grasp, right?
Especially with the listening skill, I'm thinking of every type of student that you might do this with, right? Some students might be EAL learners. Some students might not hear 100% well.
Personal goals is to be aware of diversity and inclusion and racism or LGBTQ. If it was too intentional to put something in there,
it should be intentional, and especially if it's something that you are invested in, something that you really care. Students care when you care, right?
One of the things about deep learning is that they create knowledge.
So you might want to think about aligning this with the writing process. Give them choice too.
I can give them choice, but you can also be intentional of what I want.
Of course.
So
Well, do you want to make this about the different types of podcasts or about the diversity of topics, like a database? And then there you could sort, like for great leads, watch these. For topics about sustainability, for diverse characters or for diverse populations, but they can pick depending on what they're looking to listen for. And you can have them curate the database too. But then you can give them like a graphic organizer that says, this is the one I listen to, this is what I noticed, and then we have like supporting questions like what was the background music, what was the topic about. I add like something I want to work on tomorrow, so that they know that they're still working even the class is over. There's some level of like, hey, you're giving me feedback, but you also have something to do. Thinking of my slackers, it's awesome. It's awesome. I want to do it.
Like authentic learning and meaningful, connected to the real world, creating knowledge, changes in the approach of the pedagogy. Usually, I teach something that I'm an expert on. In this one, I'm picking something that I'm not an expert on, so that I have to learn it with the students.
I feel like they make a connection to reality that pulls the whatever it is we're doing into something that actually makes sense with their real life. And I think that's really great. What do you do with that question?
This is for the students to keep on the back of their head while they're planning the podcast.
I really like it. I think it makes it real for them.
What is real?
What is real? You just said the question. What is real? We're talking about this authentic assessments and real world connections. And I feel like these questions are anchoring what you're doing to what is real. I like it.
And I also added at the end of each lesson, of each session, a feedback form, because I want them to tell me how I can improve it, if it's working, but I also want them to reflect a little bit about what they have to do next. So content, the structure, the learning material.
Maybe what they think they'll remember from today, or what's something useful they learned today. I'm thinking about examples. There are lots of places where we have interviews on telly. There's a really, really great example of terrible interviewing, which is the presidential debate.
Also have one important part is bias. So I don't want them to pick only one source. I want them to be exposed to many sources and kind of have different point of view.
One of the standards in science is the engaging in argument from evidence. They're going to be using not scientific evidence necessarily, but some sort of evidence from textual sources, right? It's taking the other perspective. Like we often choose one and we go for it and we go for that argument, but kids very rarely have the opportunity to look from it from the other side. But having that opportunity to actually being polite to somebody with opposite opinion.
How can we have a meeting with the students in which they can practice interviewing, maybe asking you some questions, or you giving them suggestion tips?
One of the coolest parts about podcasting is the community that is created. So I think that's a very good tool that you're using if that's one of your goals. I think you are getting at the essence of podcasting. And I think it's really cool how you're doing like a podcast about podcasting. And it really lets you understand everything behind.
What makes a story useful?
If it teaches about what not to do or even what to do.
Maybe motivating them is a better cause.
I guess people need to take away something from your podcast, learning something new or a new skill or something that helps you to get further in life.
I'd met him a week before at my usual Wednesday night hangout.
From the New York Times and WBUR Boston, this is Modern Love.
Music is played when they stop.
How they introduce themselves, this dramatic entrance.
They hook you so that you continue on. They were saying their names so that people knew when it was transitioning to another person.
Greta Thunberg, yeah, she uses it to persuade.
Why would you listen to a book?
To learn. First topic was telling a fun or embarrassing story. Well, I know one. I'm just too embarrassed to say what it's about. Well, it's about a dream I had.
It's a dream. It didn't even happen in real life. That's fun. I like that idea, right? Like a podcast about embarrassing things or dreams. That's cool. What can go wrong with it? What are obstacles?
Everything. Remove global warming.
I like that one. I like the connection with the real world, and I like that it solves an issue, or at least supports an issue or create awareness of it.
Probably talking about a historical event like the coronavirus.
One that's really against technology and one that loves technology.
I love that idea because you will have 2 points, totally different point of view. Depending on the topic that you're choosing, maybe you're inclined to do something in a different structure because it works better for that specific topic. There, what do you think is are elements and techniques of this story that makes it effective? What do you like about it that it's engaging? The way that the person talks, some of the word that she uses, the music at the end, which was only at the end, the first lines, the way that she was telling a story.
Was that they all sounded natural, as if it's not scripted at all. Yeah, it was really just eye-opening, and to see that not everything in the world is good. Marco, do you think your phone's spying on you?
I have absolutely no clue.
I don't have an answer for that.
Follow up, try, don't worry.
Who do you think is spying on us?
Like, I made it so difficult for Nico.
Hello, Nico. So my question for you today is, have you ever seek advice on the internet?
How to care for a certain animal.
Hello, Luis. So, as a teacher, what's your opinion about students looking at monitors for too long? And do you know any of the effects it has on the students?
I bet this will help me be a better talker since I'm so shy.
You know that part of what I'm doing this is to improve my communication skills, right?
Here, you'll learn the basics of the Soundtrap Studio.
A storyteller is more for podcasting, remote interview, interactive transcript.
Hello, guys. Welcome to my new podcast. I've just started. This is my first episode, and we're going to be talking about life on social media.
I don't know how to use it.
Yeah, to be honest, it's pretty difficult. I was using Audacity. All right. Who wants to try talking?
I can help you with that. But I don't see your voice. I don't see mine.
Decimals. Mine is 18.87 decimal.
Yes.
Okay, increase that again until it almost red lines at the top when we're speaking. Oh wait, no, green should be enough. Keep it like that. Yeah. Okay. Change that to mono.
Like that?
Turn it up a little bit.
Hello.
This is our interview, and we have some questions for the podcaster in here, and we are kind of organizing and structuring the way that we're going to ask.
I'm Nico. I'm 16. I'm Swiss, and we have 3 dogs and 3 birds.
I'm Marco. I am 14. My nationality is, I don't know, German, Swiss, English. I like to play video games, and I have 3 dogs.
I'll go. So, Luis, 33, Venezuelan, rollerblading, and I have like an adopted pet, Zoe.
I'm Gabo. I'm 26. I'm Panamanian, and I have 2 dogs, and one is right there. Let me show you. I like to play soccer. I like to play soccer, and I like to run. Mm-hmm.
How long have you been doing podcasting?
Make it a year and a half, pretty much.
How do you record your videos?
We have there's this one application called Zencaster.
I want to know how you edit your videos, including the transitions.
Okay, so we have Adobe Premiere Pro.
Do you create your sounds for the intro and transition?
No, the intro and transition are actually, it's a good friend of ours. Less research is better so that we can spend more time just like, talking between us, so that we're not like dumping information.
And how do you share your script?
We have this app called Notion. The first one is our microphone. It's an Audio-Technica 2020. It's what is called an interface. And it's this thing.
What happens if you need to use the restroom?
What happens if we need to use the restroom? Well, we can't go. Really, it's like a space to talk with my friends, learn ourselves, and to have fun and like investigate topics that we really like to learn about. Hopefully reach people that also find these topics interesting.
How do you upload your podcast?
What you need is a thing called a hosting site, and Anchor is free.
My question would be, do you have any people that help or inspire you?
We had to ask a lot of our friends for help. So we'll ask people depending on the episode as well. Some really cool podcasters inspire us to keep podcasting. There's one, it's called The Last Podcast on the Left. I look up to them a lot, and they inspire me to do what I do.
Hello. Welcome to the podcast of the educational world. Are you ready to learn some stuff? Let's see how it goes.
What's going on? Like, what do we do?
All right.
Like, what did you just say? Are you crazy? Like, stuff like that.
3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Why?
That's
Yeah,
too
but
much.
it's
That's too
needed.
much.
You're saying turn it up, and then
Just slightly.
yeah, you turn it up slightly.
You can count on me, guys. I've got your back.
Oh, that's gonna be fun to use.